welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you are here because I'm doing my first ever mukbang or mukbang, however you say it. I've never done one of these with you guys, but I am in a time crunch because I have to go get my car fixed, all of that. If you know, as a teacher, you don't have that much time during the school year to get like little errands done. So I'm doing that during my spring break. How lovely. So over break, I have been reflecting about just my teaching practices, how I can be better. I feel like every break, you guys know, as a teacher, I feel like reflection is key to our practice. And so I've been doing that over spring break, even though we're supposed to have a break. My teacher brain just doesn't turn off, okay? But I'm gonna eat lunch. I also have Chipotle right here. If you guys haven't had Chipotle, it's pretty good, but you have to be mindful that it goes through your system like crazy, but I love it. This is the key for your Chipotle order, okay? You get both rice, both beans, and then chicken, whatever meat you want, but get all the toppings, the mini. I used to go with my teammates. If you guys know, I played basketball in college. I used to go with my teammates and they're like, I only want this, and this. I'm like, you gotta load that thing up. Anyways, yes, I'm gonna be talking to you guys as I talk about becoming my dream teacher. Most teachers have a teacher that they aspire to or somebody that pushed them to become a teacher in the first place. This ties into that girl series, if you guys seen on Instagram or social media a long time ago. That girl series was going around and I subscribed to some of the things and then some of the things I don't subscribe to. I just feel like in essence, the whole movement was to get people to be their best selves. And I feel like every day, of course, you're not gonna do these things all the time, but you should be making strides to become a better version of yourself. Like 1% every day. I truly believe in that. Of course, as a teacher, you are trying to better your practices every day. So spring break is a perfect time to do that. So I'm gonna eat and talk to you guys how I am gonna become that girl. But before I get started, I want to show you guys this. Let me tell you, if you haven't not tried this mango punch, I've only seen it in some stores, so I'm gonna be drinking that as I eat my Chipotle. It's so good, let me tell you guys. I've thoroughly enjoyed being home like for spring break. I feel like a little kid in college. Coming back home from spring break, I love it. Oh, another trick with Chipotle, you have to get the chips. You have to get the chips. As I reflect from January, basically now until April, I feel like I have become a lot better with the routines and procedures in my classroom. That has helped me become that teacher. And also my organization has been through the roof and has made me feel not as like rushed when I get to school or like rushed during my lessons because I know exactly where everything is. I feel like organization, to be honest, is a key part of becoming that teacher, on top of setting boundaries. Now, this is something that I have not mastered and something that I want to do. Actually, my lead, I really look up to her a lot because I'm a person that I learned by doing. So even though, yes, I majored in education and all of that, I feel like you're never going to truly be prepared to be a teacher unless you're in it, in the thick of it, doing it each and every day, to be honest. So for example, some boundaries that I feel like I could do better at is leaving at contract hours. And then when I say something, like for example, with my students, if I say something, like actually hold up to it, because your students run over you, your coworkers will run all over you, like if you allow it. So setting time aside, or even just setting up your boundaries, things that you will do as a teacher and things that you won't do as a teacher, I feel like will be beneficial to me because I will stay. I was trying to get better. I was doing good for like 2 weeks, not like staying past contract hours. Like we got to school like 2:40 and I'll be out the door by 3. So that was like, it helped my mental health. I feel like I'm not just a teacher. I just can manage my time better during the school day. And it's something I'm working on, like it's still progressing. So I feel like once I get my boundaries set in place, especially with time management, I will have a closer step of being that teacher. Another thing that I'm trying to do to be more organized, even though I have my space organized, is still like my schedule is disorganized. Like I literally do whatever I need to do that day. So another thing I'm trying to implement is weekly schedules, like for myself. I'm not the type of person that can sit there and grade everything all day. Like I'm usually behind in my grading. You guys have probably seen that. This is my new schedule. We'll see if I stick to it. On Mondays is like all prepare for the week, get everything together, like papers, printouts, any materials that I may need, get that out on Monday. And this is in regards to like my planning. How am I gonna use my planning periods? If you guys want a video on that, on how I actually do use my planning periods, then I'll be sure to make a video on that. I'm actually, this is a side note, I see all your comments and all the video recommendations. I am slowly but surely getting to it. So don't take offense if I haven't created the video just for you, because trust and believe it's coming. Once my students go to resource, then I have my planning period. So during my planning periods on Mondays, having specific days to do specific things, I feel like will increase my productivity, because it comes to planning and I'm like, I don't know, what's the next thing on my desk to do, when really there are other things that need to be done and not necessarily on my desk, if that makes sense. So Mondays, I just want to get materials together, plan for the week. Hopefully I would have already like did my lesson plans the week before, and then I just get the materials out for that week on Monday, or put them in my organizer that you guys saw in my organization video. So that is something that I can work on. So on Mondays, get my materials. Then on Tuesdays, I have a planning with other ELA teachers in my lead. So Tuesdays is already blocked out for me. And then Wednesdays, I'm thinking I want to go ahead and grade. Wednesdays, it's the middle of the week. I can go ahead and put in the grades for that week or even the previous week if I just sit down for 40 minutes. Trying to tell myself this. Sit down for 40 minutes, knock out grades, and it will also help with getting students' feedback quicker, and I feel like in a more timely manner, instead of like a test they took 2 weeks ago. They don't care about it as they look for what they got wrong. Like, they're over it, you know, because we're on to the next unit. Then on Thursdays, my plan is to plan for the week ahead, because Fridays are absolutely crazy. Like, you need a flex day because you just never know what's gonna happen, and usually Fridays, of course, are the craziest days. But I say crazy, but I love it. Like, kids are so high energy, and I just feed off of them, you know? I absolutely love my job, if you guys didn't know. I feel like, yeah, teaching has just filled my heart up so much, like more than I could have ever imagined. Like, I feel so fulfilled going to school, seeing my students' faces every day. Like, I love it, I love it, I love it. Some other things that I'm gonna try to do to become like that teacher of my dreams is staying 1 week ahead. Now, I say it, that's my goal, is to be 1 week ahead. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. But I feel like with my planning being on that Wednesdays, I can then go ahead and plan for the next Wednesday. Like, having it in the middle of the week instead of on a Monday or Friday I've seen been beneficial to me, so I want to continue with that. Now, I have struggled with this recently because I plan in a physical planner. Like, I'm not an online type person, but at my school we do submit lesson plans online. So yes, I have it in my book, but transferring what I have in my book to online has been like a struggle for me. So my goal is to get better at that as well. And I just see some other teachers, I try not to compare, of course, but I just know that I have room to grow. Other teachers like have their lessons all laid out, have their plans all laid out, and it just takes time to get there. And I feel like through trial and error, I will, but that is something I strive to do. The next thing that I'm working on to become that teacher is to do things 3 to 5 days before they're due. Like, looking at my calendar and going ahead and planning. Like, for example, if I have an IEP meeting and it's already on the calendar 2 weeks ahead, like, go ahead and get it done that day. If you knew a little bit about me, I did procrastinate a little bit in college, and I feel like I tamed that monster, my procrastination monster, but it's starting to come back out, and I don't like that at all. So going ahead and being prepared days in advance, because you have a due date and then it just creeps up on you. Like, it's absolutely crazy. I don't know. The days are just flying by, and it doesn't help that it's spring, and mentally, with it being so hot, you feel like you're already on summer mode, but you're not. The last thing I'm trying to implement is giving my students more opportunity for leadership. This is something that's been on my heart a lot lately, is giving my students, like, student leadership is something that I've seen another teacher do, and I'm just like, oh, if my students can do this, and this. Like, basically, I sit in the back of the class and only come up when it's time to do explicit instruction, because my students are already on a routine or know what to do. Well, I do have a good routine in place, but my focus is giving them the opportunity to lead in aspects that I have been so hands-on about. Like, when I tell you, I'm slowly listening to grip, because at the beginning of the year, I was like, I want this way, and this way. And I feel like I'm the only person that could do anything in the classroom. But I realized that if you teach children, students, or whatever, like, what you want them to do, most of the time they will rise and meet that expectation or even exceed it. And then another thing that I've been guilty of is calling on the same student to do the same thing over and over again, and not giving the other students an opportunity, a chance to lead or a chance to answer the question. Just show you that they're capable of doing it. And not only show you, but show their peers, and have that like self-gratification, because they are learning and growing, and I wanted my classroom to be a safe space. So I want to go ahead and teach my children like give more leadership opportunities. And if they to be honest, they may not hit the nail on the head right away because it's their first time doing anything. Like you definitely have to crawl before you walk and run, but giving them little tasks, I feel like, to lead up to bigger tasks and eventually like do peer teaches, needless to say, give them more opportunities in the classroom. That is what I want to do. And so then my dream classroom overall will be me coming in, obviously prepared with my lessons a week ahead of time, lessons done, and then my students holding each other accountable so I'm not disciplining all day, taking chips. If you don't know what chips are, those are my classroom management style. Go ahead and check out this video to go ahead and see how I manage my classroom for classroom management. And having great classroom management, them holding each other accountable, because I realized that even though I'm saying don't do something, if your friend is telling you like, hey bud, or hey sis, this needs to be done, this needs to be done, to hold each other accountable. I've also seen that work now that I put my students in groups, like the collaboration has been out of this world and it makes my teacher heart happy. But those are some things I'm working on to become the teacher of my dreams and that I've seen other teachers be successful at. Another thing is that as teachers, like we're all learning from each other. Take some things, leave some things, and we're all just helping each other grow and become better teachers. Thank you guys so much for watching. I didn't get a chance to eat that much, but I'm gonna go ahead and finish eating. I hope you guys are having an amazing day, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.